It's up to you, New York, New York.
That intro always hits better after a nice Yankees win. It's the Richie
Yes,
Hicks
sir.
Jr. Sports Podcast. I got a guest with me today, guy that I'm going to be getting very familiar with in the very near future as we're going in on another endeavor for Talking New York. John, introduce yourself to the people, please.
Yes, how you doing? John Catuno here, diehard Yankee fan, Islanders and Knicks. Yes, and unfortunately the Jets. It's not easy being green, but you know what? They're my lovable losers. What can I say?
Hey, I get it, bro. As a Knicks fan, I understand the pain of a Jets fan. I am a Giants fan, but
hmm
it's not like that same kind of venomous feel that I would have for, say, like
Oh no,
the Brooklyn
definitely not at
Nets
all.
or, the New York Mets. And even with the Mets, I think they've kind of amused me too much for me to totally hate them. I just kind of like to laugh.
No, yeah.
So I saw you at the ball game on John Sterling Day. How was that? I'm sure that was a
Oh
really
God, that
cool
was.
experience for your little guy.
Oh yeah. One thing I told the little guy this Yankee game. We've been to a bunch of Yankee games, me and him. But this one I told him was different. This time, I know you're always pumped up, ready to go, but this is a moment where we gotta be quiet. We gotta pay our respects to a legend. And I played him some videos of John Sterling and all the, you know, Robbie Cano, and don't you know, and all the little things he said that just was so great about him, man. That was yeah, that was that. So he
Yeah,
stayed
I
cool.
mean, yeah.
He
So
stayed cool
so
and quiet.
many.
Yeah. He stayed cool, he stayed quiet, and he was respectful. And that's one thing I've instilled in my son for even when he came to his first ever Yankee game. One of the things I did, like I taught him, like, this isn't just any team. This is the Yankees. This team is special. This team is, you know, really represents New York to the fullest. And I took him to where the old stadium was at first, where the old stadium was. And I said that I came here for my first game. And then I took him there where you're going to go to your first game. I took him into Monument Park, of course. I went down every single person, let him know what made that person so special and great. You know, um, he took a picture next to the Babe Ruth monument, pointing,
Oh
calling his shot.
yeah. Yeah, that's a must. And I'll tell you, Monument Park has grown when I consider what it looked like at my first Yankee game versus now when you consider that this is pre-dynasty when I was up there.
Yeah.
I went to some of the struggle times, the late 80s, the early 90s with my late father.
Mm-hmm.
He took me to a ton of games and we're talking like the Paliarulo era, Don Mattingly.
Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was an interesting time. And for those Yankee fans who haven't seen it yet, if you do have Peacock, check out Bronx Zoo. Definitely worth 100 laughs. It was a trying time prior to a phenomenal dynasty. And if we're really being honest, in my 45 years, the
Yeah.
best run of any baseball team, truly.
I completely agree. I completely agree. Mo in the ninth was just part of the Yankee experience. Like, you know, and then when Derek retired for me, that was just like, I sat there, I'm like, I'm going to miss that guy. Like, wow, it's a guy I really grew up
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
I
yeah,
grew up
yeah,
with him. And then
yeah.
I'm like, who's my favorite Yankee now? Like, you know, but thank goodness Aaron Judge came in. Aaron Judge came in to fill that void. He did.
And he hit the
Um,
ground running because, but so did Derek for that matter, because, I was a big Mattingly guy. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I cried like a baby when I was like 15 years old and they're walking off the field in Seattle because even though I knew it wasn't decided, I felt like my guy was never going to play baseball again. And I ultimately was right. Then
yeah,
comes Derek Jeter as a natural, as a real rookie season because he appeared in 95 but wasn't officially a rookie
rookie,
because,
yeah,
yeah, you gotta have X amount of appearances at bats, etc. Because, the famous Mattingly home run, you could see Jeter kind of halfway in and halfway out of the dugout when the
yeah.
old stadium erupted. My old
Hmm.
man was actually at that game.
Oh wow,
Yeah, yeah. I
that's
happened to
awesome.
be at the time. I happened to be in Florida watching the game. My old man called me, and you could just hear like everything, and it sounded like everything was shaking behind him because a lot of accounts say that was like the one of the greatest pops in Yankee Stadium too, the Mattingly home
Nice.
run in the ALDS in '95. But
Hmm.
yeah, Jeter really truly hit the ground running, and it's a blessing because you consider Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill.
All right.
Williams made the O'Neill deal possible by bumping out Roberto Kelly, so
Hmm.
that was. I love the boss. Don't get me wrong, but his banishment for a little while was actually a blessing in disguise as three men really put that dynasty together.
Yeah,
Watson, Cashman, Showalter got the ground running in the very beginning. But no, it's great to have you, bro. We've been talking, you know, with our buddy Jay DiMaggio. We're cooking up some good stuff.
we
We're
are.
talking New York, and I've been doing this podcasting thing for a couple of years. Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. Always looking to branch out. Always looking for other endeavors, marrying endeavors, whatever you have you. But anytime I get to talk about my favorite baseball team with another diehard, it's always a good day.
No, great day, great day. Um, and what else? What else? What was the? Well, okay, Rich. Since we're learning about each other, what would you say was the a Yankee game that you went to that you could say was your favorite game that you went to?
It was a weird one.
Yeah.
Just to age myself, Deion Sanders
Wow.
inside the park homer, Bo Jackson extending because Bo had quite the day, and he was also active in the NFL at the time. This Kansas City
Mhm.
Royals prime Bo Jackson, two
Yes.
NFL legends. One of them made the Hall. Bo would have made the Hall probably in both sports if he didn't get hurt. But Bo didn't make the play. Dion, I really thought he was going to be out at home because he was kind of. It was a very not the smoothest delivery getting to home, but
Hmm.
Dion in the Yankee uniform was a whole vibe, and a lot of
Yes.
people, maybe they don't remember. They're not as old as me, or maybe they remember him as a lockdown corner in the NFL. But Dion was very immature as a Yankee, but damn, he was really exciting. And obviously O'Neill took that number, and he, you know, now has it on the wall.
Oh yeah.
But
Hmm.
that's my most memorable. And to age myself again, Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. Playing against the New York Yankees. I got to see father and son, and Griffey Senior had some time with the Yanks, and Ken
Nice.
Griffey Jr. Most beautiful swing, but man, as a child, because of that bad experience, he loved to give it to the Yanks.
Yeah. The whole with Ken Griffey with the whole I would retire if that were the only team giving me a contract.
Yeah,
That was
certain
good.
memories last a lifetime. I
Oh
get it,
yeah.
but I mean, somebody's got to be on the other side, right? That's how you build those great
Absolutely, that's
memories.
what
You
makes
need
it
those
great.
guys.
That's what makes it great. Like a showdown, like with this past series with the Angels when you saw Trout and Judge just going at it with home runs. It was just like that. Absolutely.
That was great for baseball because um, if I think about guys that don't wear the pinstripes or guys I
Hmm.
genuinely respect, Mike Trout's on the top of that list. It's not easy to lose at the clip that they've been losing, but to always be that dude locked in, be accountable, be a role model for your teammates, things of that nature. It's not easy, guys, to be that. And Mike Trout has been able to, keep up whenever he's healthy. But obviously, being healthy has been an issue for him. But seeing him and Aaron Judge flex the muscles in a series like that shows that when Mike Trout's healthy, he is still that dude.
Oh yeah, he is still that dude for sure. So back to what I was gonna say for me, my it's a funny thing with my favorite game I went to. So 2024, I was a 10 game package holder, and
Oh, nice, nice.
all 10 games in the regular season we won. That was beautiful.
Really,
Yeah, did
really.
not
That
leave with a loss. Did not leave with a loss. So now get this. So I go to game one of the ALDS against the Royals. And we won that one too. Then I get World Series tickets. I get World Series tickets 2024, and
Oh
for game
shit.
four, we're down 3-0. And before the game, when we went down 3-zip, I was posting online saying, "Does anybody want to buy these tickets? I can't. I'm not gonna. I don't want to see us get swept out our own field. This is horrible, right?" A coworker actually came to my marched right up to my desk. He doesn't talk to me often, but he marched right up to my desk because he was my Facebook friend, and he said to me, "Do not do that. Don't do that. Don't you sell those tickets. Who cares if they even if they do lose? You say you went to the World Series. You're a diehard fan. Like don't do that."
John, does this cup look familiar?
Yeah,
That was, yeah. Good friend of mine, Christina, her cousin works concessions at the stadium, and yeah, he made sure to bring me one of these when we visited.
nice, nice.
Yeah. So this is my
So
go-to cup when I'm watching the Yanks.
nice. So I go to the game. The only game that we won. The only one we won in that series. Game
So the
four.
story of the 24 Yankees falling in the World Series is the fact that you didn't go to every game.
Right? No. I only went to that one game number
But
four.
if you
That
but
was
if
it.
you attended all of them, it's
Yeah.
probably a completely different result.
Oh yeah. Because everybody told me, and then after it was over, everybody was hitting me up saying, "Go back to game five. Go back to game five." They were waiting for. I was like, "Yo, if you would have
Start a
chipped in,
GoFundMe. People are gonna send you there.
yeah."
People are gonna start
But
sending you to Yankee Stadium.
yeah, but man, it was nice. It was cool though because it was funny just watching the Dodger fans get up from their seats, like in the eighth inning when it was like 11-4, and it was like me. I got the crowd so like my little section because the section next to us was the away team because that was where the away team sat, right? Away
Right.
team fans. They were getting up and leaving, and I was like, "Yo, everybody." When they walk by, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go, not today, not today, yo. People were getting either mad. Some people were like, "You're right, not today." Like, and then there was like one girl Dodger fan blowing us all kisses and stuff. It was a good time, man. That was a great experience, man.
So
Um,
you're glad. So you're definitely glad you won. I have
yeah.
not attended a World Series game, but I did attend an American
Ooh.
League Championship Series game. We're going back to 2001, Game One against the Mariners. Unfortunately, we did not win that game.
Mm.
Been to a ton of Subway Series games, so I kind of said what my favorite home game was. If I'm going to say what my favorite road game was, undeniably 21 in City Field. the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I was in the building. I was actually sitting amongst the 7 line.
Right.
And that was a cool experience in the sense that it was bigger than baseball. My old man was a 9/11 first responder, so that was definitely bigger than baseball. And it was a win for New York. But as Jeter
Yes.
said, 21 years earlier,
Yes.
get loose to the Mets on a stage like that. We did not, just like we didn't in the 2000 Subway Series. We got our buddy Jay DiMaggio in here.
Is he
My
really?
favorite game. He's in the comments right here. My
I
favorite game
see it.
was
I see him.
April
What's up,
11th,
Jay?
2018 at Fenway when the Yankees Red Sox last brawl happened. Oh, yeah, I remember this game. Vasquez held Austin's jersey from behind. Oh, yeah. I do remember that game. You were at that. Okay. I do remember that game. Great. Great. Let's talk about these current Yankees for a second.
Let's do it.
Obviously, the pitching's been really good. And that's not just talking about the rotation. That's talking about the entire staff. Obviously a couple of blips in the Milwaukee series, but baseball could be
Yeah.
a very fickle game where one bad pitch could really just, mess up your day as a fan or your day as a player. And I feel that while the Tim Hill boneheaded throw, that's just part of the game. Things happen.
Mhm.
But I'm looking at this pitching, and I said it in a quick short that I did after we won today. If the Yankees keep up that consistency of pitching, regardless of the ups and downs, peaks and valleys of this lineup, they're going to be on the right side of a lot of these close games.
Oh yeah, of course. I feel the same. I would, however, like to see them try to make a trade for a good, more a good reliable bullpen pitcher. I think the starting rotation, leave it alone. Cole's coming back. Rondon will get back into his, rhythm. Cole will get
Absolutely.
back
The
to his
velocity
rhythm.
wasn't bad with Rodon. It was more, walking too many guys.
Yeah, I
He was able
agree.
to dance out of it for the most part. Not going to be able to dance out of it on most days where you issue 5 walks, but
Unfortunately
truthfully,
for me, though, I did not get to see when Rondon was pitching because that was when I was doing my Mother's Day festivities. So I missed
yes.
that one. I did. But you know, but anyways, but I would like to see them do that. I would like to see. Let's see. You call Volpe up. Hopefully, let's see what happens
Yeah, that
there.
was more like a circumstantial thing with Jose Caballero going on the 10-day IL.
Yeah.
Caballero's
Hmm.
been a godsend. It's really unfortunate. I'm looking at being a godsend even going back to last year, leading the AL in swipe bags. And I live in Florida, so I see enough of the Rays, and I go to my fair share of Yankees Rays games, and I'm
Hmm.
happy that we plucked him from Tampa. That dude fits what the Yankees are trying to do over the course of the last couple of years, which is get faster on the bags. Because I know you recall, we've always had sluggers, but not a lot of speed, and that's been something the last 2 years or so that the Yankees have really been pushing is stealing more bags, and it has helped in a lot of areas, because
Yeah.
you can influence a game sometimes as a pinch runner, and he did that a lot last year. Now, he got a real bite out of the apple, no pun intended, to play shortstop, and it's unfortunate because I got no bad for Volpe. I like both of them. I want anybody in that uniform to succeed. I don't care. But my thing is, it's unfortunate. But with a bad injury comes opportunity. Same goes for Spencer
Yeah.
Jones coming up because of the unfortunate Dominguez injury.
Yeah. And we're banged up right now. We're a little banged up right now with Stanton out,
Stanton with his
Dominguez,
annual IL stand. Yeah,
Dominguez, and what's it called? Now Cabby.
yeah. Unfortunately, but I will say this, John. I don't ever recall. Well, actually, let me take that back. It's been a long, long time since I've seen a Yankee team that has this kind of depth, where you essentially have 7, 8 guys that can honestly start games. And you could have an in-house solution potentially, because we know that Duvall has been disappointing in his bridge role to get to Bednar. A name that comes to mind to me is possibly Ryan Weathers. which would be like a second act for that family because his old man was part of the '96 Yankees. It's interesting
Yeah.
how things come full circle. Same with Cody Bellinger. His
Bellinger
old man played
too.
with the Yankees.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works out, and it's crazy how it makes you feel old because you remember the dads playing.
It is true. But hey, if you get your kid going and get him in pinstripes and he does well, let's go. Let's do it. Like
Yeah,
fight or like son.
no, absolutely, and baseball is 100% a father and son game. There is no doubt about that. More than any other sport,
Oh yeah.
that is a father and son game through and
You
through. I
you
mean,
you ready to hear this one? I
yeah,
got this one's gonna blow your mind. So my dad coached me in baseball. Now, get this for my son, it's both my dad and me coaching him.
your dad. Oh wow,
He's
your
got his
dad's part of that
grandfather
too.
and his dad coaching him.
That's cool. And I had that blessing for a little while, as well as my grandpa Yogi in the beginning of my little league run was around with my dad. So that's pretty damn cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Is your
Mm-hmm.
kid a lefty or a righty?
Righty.
Awesome.
He's a
Awesome.
righty. He's plays second base.
That's great, man. That's great. So he's
Very
enjoying it.
fast. He's very quick, very fast. So and he's loving what he's doing. Yep. Jay writes, that's amazing. Yes, sir. It is. It definitely is.
Yeah, Little League was always amazing. And you look at how much even like the Little League World Series has grown and how that has spawned like so much major league talent. It's truly incredible. And you always get like that Cinderella team in the Little League World Series that nobody sees coming.
Yeah.
And it's really just blown up into like it was always a great tournament, but now it's like, wow, the
Yes.
exposure that these kids get is really great for the sport. I think the World
Hmm.
Baseball Classic's also been beneficial for the sport. Seeing the world come together on that level, especially when you consider some of the times, it's a good look and it's a good thing.
It is. It is. You know what's cool? When I took my son to Hershey Park, right?
Okay.
Staying at a hotel, and guess what we run into? That Massapequa team and from Massapequa, Long Island, that team, that little league team that made it to Williamsport, they were staying at that hotel. I was like, can I take a picture with you guys? You guys are
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And Massapequa, I'm familiar with Massapequa going back to my Pee Wee football days. I was an Inwood Buccaneer.
You were a what?
Inwood Buccaneers. We played
Oh, Inwood.
Massapequa,
Wait. You talking Inwood from like the five
South Shore,
towns?
South Shore, Long Island, bro.
Five towns. Wow, that's where you're from, Inwood?
Yeah, man. And Far Rockaway. I was actually my origins were like Beach 44th Street. Went to Lawrence High School. Um, my old man was a cop in Far Rockaway for 21 years, man.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
There
Yes,
you
sir.
go.
But
Well,
yeah,
you know where we grew up. Well, I'm right on the Queens Long Island borderline in Lake Success. Like 2 blocks
okay.
away is Queens. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's how it was. That's how it was. Like
we grew
Inwood
up
is
in Mets
essentially a
territory.
sneeze
Let's
away.
be honest. We
Oh,
did.
but there was never really an option. I mean, on both sides of my father and my mom, because like
Yeah.
my late grandmother Maria, Puerto Rican side, she worked as in a second gig overnight making the baseball jacket. And she was
Nice.
like the most diehard fan. So she's really the one. If anyone in my family is responsible for my appreciation of John Sterling, it's her because she was the lady that loved listening to the radio. She was that
Yep.
person that enjoyed the game on the radio. And back to the Jackets, she brings home three of them: a Met one, a Red Sox one, a Yankee one. She didn't influence me. And this is when I was real little. I picked the Yankee one. I didn't even think twice about it. And I think she wanted to make sure that the other two Jackets were just like the most unacceptable answer. So she wanted to make sure. But yeah, and that's kind of where it was
Good
born. I'm
job.
talking about the old school ones, like with the little spaceship on the sleeve. Like, we're going back. But yeah, and from there it was born. And the Mets had some good years in the '80s, but I weathered that, and yeah, it was most definitely worth it. As we got to see a three-peat, we got to see 4 and 5 years. We came ever so close to a four-peat. and we notched one back in '09. And now
We
I
did.
personally think we got a team that, I want to get the big guy a World Series before it gets too late. I don't want the same fate for him that happened to Don Mattingly.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. We gotta see to a judge gets it. But we got the right tools, I feel. We just need one more reliable bullpen pitcher. One
Do you
more.
like my suggestion of potentially Ryan Weathers being that dude? Because with his
I
swing
do.
and miss, and there's not going to be rotation room because we're not doing 6-man rotations.
No,
I
we're not.
mean, it could work, and he's got
Hmm.
the starter's flexibility where he could go in there like a bulldog for a couple of innings. Got my mother in the comments. She loved making those jackets. Yes, she did, and I always had a new one every year.
Nice. Hi,
Yes,
mom.
yes, 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 she did. Yeah, my grandmother was diehard, but I mean everybody in my family. My Aunt Debbie, her foyer looked like a friggin' Yankee Stadium museum, and I inherited a lot of her stuff. Rest in peace, my cousin DJ, big Yankee fan too. But
Yep.
like, yeah, I got quite the layout in that Yankee room, and I'll definitely probably next time we link up on here, we'll probably do the
Yes.
show in there. But this was more like self-preservation. I'm not waking up the little guy,
Yeah,
because and then
no,
the
me
dog.
too. My little
It's
guy's
not
right.
even me. It's not even
Yeah.
me. It's the dog that'll wake him up.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
she'll give me up in a second. But
Yes. All right.
Aaron Boone, I know he's been under a lot of ridicule over the years, a lot of scrutiny over the years. I'm one of those
Can't
guys
say he
that,
didn't make the bed. He didn't make the bed on that one.
to a level, I definitely agree. I've been hard on Aaron Boone, but I will say this. In the early going of this particular season, I think he's been pushing the right buttons for the most part.
Great. It's about time. 'Cause
So
I've always felt this about Boone. What has always driven me nuts. And I was been going to games and everything. And I remember there was one game. What's his name? Domingo Herman was on
oh
the
boy.
mound.
Okay,
No, no, no,
okay.
no, 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 no. Domingo was pitching
Oh,
so
what?
great.
Okay, okay, okay.
He was pitching so great. I was at this game. That was the one game where the Yankees gave us an offer, me and my buddy an offer for doing the 10-game package for a while, a free, field level MVP seat, right?
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So we're sitting there. Domingo Herman's pitching. It was great, and then all of a sudden, when it was the seventh, it was the end of the seventh inning, flawless shutout. Like he got to 88 pitches. He was at 88. Didn't walk anybody. Nobody. What does Boone do? He takes him out.
Yeah.
And I forgot who it was that came out there instead. Blew it. Blew it. And then blew it like to where they caught up. And then they bring that we're going into the ninth, down up, still winning by 2. And Aroldis Chapman. Balls are going all over the
Yeah.
place. It was horrible,
You talk about
horrible,
a
and we blew it.
complicated. You talk about a complicated. I wouldn't even use the word legacy, but you talk about a complicated tenure because he had some serious highs for a while as a
He
Yankee. But
did.
my God,
Not
did
that
that dude
time.
give up? Did that dude give up some meaningful home runs? And back to Herman, Boone pissed me off, and I think we're talking about the same season because I think it might have been within a few weeks of each other. Another Domingo Herman start where he was flirting with a no-no. Actually, he's flirting with a perfect game in Fenway. That one ring a
Ooh,
bell to you? I remember that one
I
too.
do remember that one. Yes. Where
Yeah,
for my game, it was at the stadium. So
yeah. And well, this one I caught on the tube, but I've been very hypercritical of Aaron Boone, but I will say this. When you're running it back, it applies pressure on everybody in that locker room. And I don't necessarily look at it as completely a run back because you have certain pieces that have enhanced roles now. Like an
hmm
Ahmed Rosario has an enhanced role. Cabby, an enhanced role. And nobody on their bingo ticket, I believe, thought that Will Warren and Ryan Weathers were going to be those dudes, while Cole and Rodon were having extended stays on the IL. So the way I look at it,
Yeah,
regardless of what the Tampa Bay Rays are doing, we're sitting good right now.
we're
Because if
sitting
we get
great.
70% of what Garrett Cole could and should be,
Yep.
we're looking beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. Back to the Rays, though, man. I'm just like, every time I see us win, I go take a look to see how the Rays did. I'm like, son of a gun, they won again. They just won't
They're
go
good.
away.
I'll be honest, you know, and I talk about them enough on my show, but like when you consider what Kevin Cash has accomplished, and then that atrocity of giving talk about giving the wrong guy the bag with Wander Franco,
Yeah.
and for them to still recover, come out of it, and play at the level they are, it's a credit to their manager. And I'm a firm advocate that I always say that catchers tend to be the best managers, but
Hmm.
Kevin Cash has done such a phenomenal job when you consider that when you take over there, you already know that you've got limited funds. So you better
Hmm.
get real acclimated with what's going on in Double A and in Triple A, and talk to those managers, pick those managers' brains as well, and really work like as a well-oiled machine to get these guys up to the bigs, because they're not paying the Randy Arozarenas and many other players that were fringe superstars that have moved on to greener pastures in terms of salary, things of that nature. Because
Hmm.
I'll tell you the truth, Tampa's a cool city, but the stadium in St. Pete is an eyesore.
It
It looks
is.
like an overgrown Costco. I mean, the only thing that as a Floridian now that I enjoy about it is that I'm not going to sweat my ass for 3 hours,
Right.
unless if it's last time, because I think that hurricane still might have had some damage on the AC. So you know how Jazz was
Hmm.
bitching and moaning about the weather and all that being too cold? Jazz was like 0 for 2 and two terrible at bats. So it's not Yankee Stadium by any means. You will be hurt. You will
Yeah.
be hurt. And I
Yes.
was playing around having some fun with Jazz because I was getting frustrated. I was writing down Jazz. I was like,
Yeah.
Jazz, is it warm enough? I think the AC broke. But and I like Jazz. That's me just being like, come on, get your head in the game. I like Jazz. Like, come on, you're better than
Yeah.
this.
Hmm.
But Yankee fans are not easy, bro.
We're
Yankee
not.
fans are not easy, nor should we be. There's
Right.
a really high standard, and that to me is what separates the Yankees from so many other organizations. Because the crazy thing with the Yankees is that it's easier for them to be under an extreme amount of ridicule. Because if you're a team like, say, those other guys in Fenway, and you occasionally win a World Series, but you take like a 3-year hiatus from the playoffs, it's a lot easier to not get messed with than if you're constantly winning, have winning seasons since what, 92, 93 era,
Yeah.
basically the very beginning of the 90s when the turnover happened up to now. Very rarely do you even miss the playoffs. But the fact that you're constantly in it, you're constantly a championship contender. And when you have a drought like we have had since '09, making the playoffs is something that I think a lot of people overlook. It's not easy.
Nope.
Everybody is chasing everybody in the East. But it's a standard thing. We're not like those guys in Queens. We're not going to put up these little rinky-dink banners for winning
No.
division titles.
Mm-mm.
Well, not to mention, we wouldn't have any wall space.
No.
But
No.
you get where I'm going.
I do. I do. I definitely do. And that's why, you know, I think of myself with being, I've gotten a little bit better as a Yankee fan, I think, with, I don't know, like the expectations.
Yeah,
I do know. I'm always. I used to always be like, "Oh, we're winning the World Series. We're winning the World Series." Like this, that, whatever. Now it's turned more into, okay, you know what? I could see us beating this team, that team. This one's gonna give us trouble. This one might give us trouble.
that's kind
And
of where I've
now I'm feeling
graduated to.
like, all right, if we catch this, if we win the pennant, right? If we win the pennant, we're facing against the Dodgers, right?
Right,
Right now.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, ooh, gosh.
Now they're banged up too, but I will say this. they don't give me the heebie-jeebies that they did say 2 years ago,
No,
or
they
even the
don't.
team that came back to beat the Blue
You know
Jays.
what?
Because
It's starting to. I think what might be happening to them now. Call me crazy, and I'm sure we could get some comments in here that might people might agree with me too on this one. Here it is. I think the Dodgers have put themselves in a position right now of the way the Yankees were feeling between 2000 and let's say 4 to 2008, like somewhere in there. We built ourselves up so much that we just put this intense pressure with it, like the intense pressure
and you
was
had
on.
a lot of people crying because the funny thing, right?
Yeah,
When we really want full on, we're getting the superstars. I mean, don't get me wrong. We were loving it. We were loving on the superstars more so in the pitching realm in the '90s.
yeah.
As it got into the 2000s, you're getting all the big names.
Uh-huh.
After Mattingly's departure, you never had to worry about having an excellent first baseman. You had Tino, you had Teixeira. Giambi might have been the step back with the glove, but he was still a basher.
Yeah.
But they always had
Uh-huh.
like a reliable um, first baseman. And then we had that little period where we couldn't find a first baseman,
Right.
but points to be made is what these dudes are doing now, just the Otani contract alone is
Hmm.
absurdity. And then
Yeah.
those other idiots in Queens, they want to give Juan Soto, who's not
Soto.
even a 5-tool player, that kind of money. I don't care if he
No.
if I'm not mad at him for taking it.
I'm not
Who
mad
won it?
either, but I'm gonna
Who
say
won it?
this. Hold on, I gotta say this about the whole Soto thing. Here it is. It wasn't the fact that the Mets gave him $5 million more. Because had he stayed in a Yankee uniform, he would have easily made up that the other 5 million. No
Absolutely,
problem. Wearing that Yankee
absolutely.
uniform, you're gonna get because you become way more global. Mets, it's like you're looked at as local, you know and that would have made up the other 5 million. The difference maker in that one, I'm telling you what the difference maker was getting his family the suite. But here's the thing about Yankees. Guess what? Our suites are sold out, and those are the
Yeah,
people really pumping the income into us.
that's
It's a
right.
business
That's
at the
right.
end of the day. Mets, okay, yeah, they gave him a suite because guess what? They had suites available. They had
But
it.
what results has this garnered? They had a very disappointing finish in a season where it looked like they were going to make the playoffs. My
Yeah.
crazy ass picked them to win the NL East this year, and
You
and
did,
I
and you,
when I'm
boy, did I
wrong,
tell? What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
everything that's happening.
Everything that's happening. I
You
said they're
and
not
you
gonna
were
do
right.
it. They are not
I've
gonna do
I've
it.
been
No.
very sturdy with
However,
the rest of
however,
baseball, but man, was I wrong about them.
I was wrong. There was something you were right about in the statement, and I was wrong about though. I said that the Phillies were gonna win the division, and boy, was I wrong about that.
And I
But
did,
it's the Braves that taking off, man. The
I had
Braves.
the Braves in second because I felt like they were, if the pitching held up, meaning if they're healthy, because the pitching has been good. I didn't
Hmm.
have Baldwin having that kind of bust out. This is second year in a row where you're
Yeah.
having a career breakout for a catcher. Last year it was Cal Raleigh, and no Cal Raleigh, all due respect, and Seattle Mariners Nation, that's not the MVP. They got that shit right.
Yeah. Now, and I've talked to a few Mariners fans. I have. And they even said during that whole thing, like who's going to get MVP? Is it going to be Judge? Is it going to be Raleigh? Even they were saying, much as I would love to see it be Raleigh, it's going to be Judge. It's going to be
Uh,
Judge.
yeah, and I respect, like, you can't be a Yankee fan in any era and not respect the duties of a catcher. And that dude really broke his ass last year to be
Hmm.
available. And that's something that you don't see anymore. That's like shades of the late, great Thurman Munson, guys that put it all on the line like that, or a
Hmm.
Carlton Fisk. Those dudes were few and far between that were just that damn tough, but still able to obtain the offensive fluidity because
And
when
even
you're
what's
when
his
you're giving it
name?
up there, you it's hard to keep up the offense.
Even Jorge, he was tough.
And it's switch hitter at that.
Like yo, anytime something was like going down, Jorge would be the first to be like, "Come on, bring it!" Like
Yeah,
he
he was
was.
definitely like even with those iconic matchups, like you're going back to like the Pedro versus Clemens era where we had
Pedro. Yep.
and Posada was one of those guys that was always going to stand up and protect his team.
Yeah.
I've come to, I guess you could say, respect Pedro a lot more. He's so far removed from the game. There's nothing that I don't care. There's nothing that I'm ever going to agree on tossing an old man to the ground. Whether Zimmer was wrong or not, that age gap was enough for me for him to
Yeah.
not do that.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Same here.
Period.
But at the
Period.
end of the day, who's your daddy?
Uh, and Pedro knows, and I give him that much. He knew. But
Yeah.
he had some good clips, some good sound bites. Like
Yeah.
when they asked him what would happen if you faced the Bambino, he says, I'd beam him. So you got to give him credit for having a good sense of humor at least. But Grady Little, when he decided to let Pedro talk him into staying when he was clearly getting roughed, I knew we were going to come back, and I won a lot of money that night. Not even on a gambling site,
Ooh.
by opening my big mouth and talking smack to a Boston fan that was on the other side of the bar. He ended up leaving. He put his money on the table, and he called the bar back. I don't know why anybody would do this. But he called the bar back, literally crying, because he thought that they had it in the bag. Of course, they finally broke it the next year. I don't like to talk about that too much.
No, don't talk about
We're
it.
not. We're not going to. We're not going
We
to.
will
But
not.
we'll leave that alone.
2004 did not exist. It was a year
One
that
more
was best.
time,
Yep.
my guy Donnie should have got a ring that year too. And it's something with
Mhm.
the fours. 94 was another one. And those Montreal Expos were great. I don't know if we would have beat them, but at minimum, it's a shame we didn't find out.
Mm. Pedro was
But
on that team too.
yeah, Pedro was on that team. The big unit was on that team. Those dudes were
Hmm.
scary. But if
Yeah.
we feel bad as Yankee fans because of like an iconic player like Mattingly not getting one,
Wait a
imagine how
minute.
they
No, no,
imagine
no,
how
no,
they
no. The
feel.
big unit was not on the 94 Expos.
No, you're right. He was in Seattle already.
He was in Seattle already. Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Hmm. But
Um,
I'm trying to
but
remember another big name that was on
but I
that
mean,
team.
Larry Walker was on there, I believe.
Yes, he was indeed.
But I mean, think about like how we feel as fans, like them. They don't even have a team anymore.
They don't.
Like that
They
was their
don't.
shot at glory and going down as one of the best single season teams because that Expos team was scary, bro.
They
They
were.
were that good. They were
They
that
were.
good, and
Yeah.
that's crazy. And this kind of opens up one too. The steroid era. A lot of people left after the strike. A lot of people,
Hmm.
were really brokenhearted. I was a young kid that was brokenhearted over the way that played out, in large part because of Don Mattingly. And when I think about how many people left, then Congress got involved down the road, it pisses me off to a level. And it's not like I'm one of these, like, what's the word, like morality searchers, because the hole in Cooperstown has lost some points with me in the picking and choosing of when they want to be the moral police versus when they want to sweep something under the rug versus when
Now,
they don't want to reward guys that actually never cheated, like Don Mattingly.
now, I got
Why
a
does
great
death
question.
disqualify you from the hole, like Thurman Munson?
I want to tell. I'm going to piggyback on what you said, but I got with a question. Actually, here it is. If you have a pitcher who's on steroids going to
Mhm.
a batter who's on steroids,
Uh-huh.
who has the advantage in that one?
I'm gonna say the pitcher because they already have the advantage. Because if you
Yeah.
if you succeed
Well,
30% of the time, you're one of the best hitters in baseball.
yeah. So here's the way I see about steroids. If you have a pitcher on steroids going to a batter on steroids, I'm taking it to a level of the what you said about the pitching. Okay, I agree because steroids does not improve hand-eye coordination. It does not.
No,
No, it does not. Um,
no.
but I will say this: the only people it was not fair to was the records that they were breaking like that. That's the only thing I'm gonna say.
Or the
But,
altering of
but,
history.
and then, but listen, you want to talk about a cheating that was the biggest cheating to me than steroids was what the Astros did, and then what Cora brought over to the Red Sox and what they did, and then the Astros
Uh,
again. You know.
Before it was the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast, it was the Jordan Patrick Show. Great friend of mine. I ultimately took the show over after a
Yeah.
couple of years.
Hmm.
On our test run merch, like coffee cups and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, ever so discreetly, we were saying we're gonna put the AJ Hinch thing in there, and it would be like the most subliminal thing. It's fuck you, AJ Hinch.
Yeah.
And whenever he came up in conversation, by accident, by chance, by whatever, it was always fuck you, AJ Hinch.
Yeah.
And and it's funny because to this day, if you ever follow the catalog on my show, it'd be like some random stuff that comes out. If we're talking about the Tigers now, or something that
Yeah.
has to do with him. Our very
Hmm.
first episode. This is going back to like when we unfortunately lost Kobe, and we were talking about cheating scandals. So Belichick, Hinch, and Shoeless Joe. So
Yeah.
that was, the main, topic, and it also kind of spawned into the hypocrisy of MLB, the Hall of Fame, such.
Yeah.
Now, you made a good point about the records. I make a point about altering history for other players as well. So say like once again, Don Mattingly, Mark McGuire was still in the American League.
Yeah.
So how many All-Star games did he screw Mattingly out of? Maybe instead of six-time American League All-Star, maybe Cooperstown likes eight a little more.
Yeah.
And I think about things like that. Little
Yeah.
things like that I think about, or like how, listen, no knock on you, Scott Rowland. You were a classy dude when you played. But it's like, in no world is Scott Rowland better at what he did than what Don Mattingly is. Or no knock on you, Joe Mauer. You were class too. But I think you get what I'm saying.
I do. I
And
do.
then Poppy, I like Poppy as a human. He's a Red Sox, whatever. I like him as a human. But it kind of helps to a level when you're a media personality that you can dance through the drops a little better. And I know it wasn't quote unquote illegal in the league yet.
Right.
It's more fortuitous than anything. But once again, same era. Uh, a Hall of Fame that doesn't have a Barry Bonds, a Roger Clemens, or an Alex Rodriguez in it, but has a career DH. And
Hmm.
I'm sorry, he was a lot skinnier when he was David Arias. I'm just going to call it like I see it. You know what it is.
Do you know? Wait. We're talking about Poppy on this one, right?
Yes, sir. If you look at some
Okay.
of
You
his
know,
old
Poppy
baseball
tested
cards,
positive, had a positive steroid
yes,
test.
he did.
But I'm
Yes,
gonna
he
say
did.
something else. Wait. No, this is gonna be the biggest. Like, and this one I've caught heat for saying, but I still stand by it. And you ready for this? Here it is.
Let's
It's
go.
gotta be
Let's
said.
go.
It's
Let's
gotta be
go.
said. Here it is.
Let's go.
All right. How come whenever Boston athletes, coaches, owners do something and get in trouble, it's like it gets swept under the rug every time. And when it happens to a New York athlete, coach, or whatnot, the book gets thrown at them. It's
I do want to
true.
say this too. I know
Now,
New York don't play
let me give.
around.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Before
Go
you
ahead.
say it, I'm gonna give you these prime examples here. Number
All right. I
one,
want to hear this. I want to hear this.
Poppy with the positive steroid test. Poppy with the positive steroid test. And what did he come out and say? He's like, well, back in 2003, I took vitamins. Maybe I got a little careless and whatnot, but I might have, and then all that, and it was like, really?
So
And
he was
now,
training, saying his prayers, and eating his vitamins.
yeah, exactly. And what happens? No suspension. Okay, fine. It wasn't part of the rules, but somehow, some way, he gets into the Hall of Fame. But get this, because of that, he barely got in. He got in. It was like 75%. He had 76, something like that.
But do you know
Now,
how weird that is? That he's like try hosting that thing with Jeter and A Rod, but A Rod don't get in.
right?
A-Rod's just a common sense thing. And I will be the first to tell you that when A-Rod used to screw up, where A-Rod pissed me off was when he lied to Peter Gammons.
Yeah,
That's when he pissed me off because Peter
yeah.
Gammons deserved better respect than that. But like anything
Hmm.
else, A-Rod's one of many.
Yeah,
It's insulting people's intelligence, whether Barry Bonds is an asshole or not, to not put him in the hall because that dude was fast tracking to the Hall of Fame when he was still skinny and when he was actually a five-tool player as opposed to a human bobblehead hitting him into McCovey Cove.
exactly. And all right, now getting off of baseball for a second. How many times do you see the Patriots get caught cheating? How many times? How
Oh,
many
you
times?
already know. You already know, John.
And like, what happens to them?
No suspensions, but okay, fine. They lose a draft pick, even though they just won the Super Bowl. They would have okay. They lost their 32nd pick. Like they'll take that any day of losing a 32nd pick to winning a Super Bowl. They'll take that all day. Friggin' Spygate, Deflategate, the
Then you got,
some of the line was on roids. Like it was,
not to mention that they had a serial killer.
yeah. And
And I
then
said it
the
playing around on
Boston,
one of my football groups. Like
the
this
two,
Rosidi thing's blown out of proportion. It's just
yeah,
infidelity. They had a serial killer.
the two, and then oh yeah, and then you got what's it called? It's Robert Kraft with the prostitutes. Like
Yeah, man. They've
it's like
become
all that got swept
the
under the rug. It's
they've
in,
become
and
like
then
the
what?
2020s version of
Wait,
like
Roger Goodell. What happened to your little personal conduct thing? Yeah, right. Now let's go on to the 2018 Boston Red Sox. Man, they brought that cheating thing into what they would do. What Cora was doing in Houston, he brought that
absolutely.
into the Red Sox. But then what happens? They said, okay, they did their investigation on 2017. Astros. They come in and do it on the Red Sox. What happens? What happens? COVID
Yeah.
hits. COVID hits during that
Yes.
investigation. And then all of a sudden, it's like that the investigation decided not to continue it any further
But it's
because of,
crazy to me because Shoeless Joe gets banished forever. Pete
yeah,
Rose signed papers to make sure that he would never be in the Hall of Fame, or at least when he was alive. I think he's going to
yeah,
get in one day regardless, but it's
yes,
crazy to me. It's crazy to me. And then, this goes back to that whole moral police thing. I feel that you got kids coming up now.
yeah,
The best way is give these guys a shot at redemption.
yeah,
Put them in because your sport made a ton of money and brought in a whole new generation of fans during that home run race.
right.
I mean, this is an institution that refused to even acknowledge Roger Maris while he was alive, and he didn't cheat nobody.
No, he didn't. No, he
And
didn't.
Roger Maris, that's my little guy's one of his favorite sports movies is 61. My little guy,
61's
if
an awesome movie. I love that movie.
yeah, good job, Billy Crystal.
Yeah,
And
oh, yeah.
and truthfully, my little guy, like if they ask him who's your favorite player for the Yankees, he'll be like Roger Maris all time, but currently Ben
Mhm.
Rice. My
Yeah,
kid has a propensity for kind of like, he loves Aaron Judge too, don't get me wrong, but he has a
yeah,
propensity for kind of like going for the long shots because, we knew Ben Rice was going to be a good player, but
yes.
he's really, over exceeding, I think, what many of us thought, and we're very happy about
Yeah.
it. And, what more can you say about Roger Maris? He beat out a flat out icon in Mickey Mantle. Like that wasn't
Yes,
just
he
a ball
did.
player. That dude was an icon. And the
Yep.
injuries, stole that race in favor of Maris. But it's crazy because I understand that the Bambino, is baseball in so many ways.
Yes.
And he was ahead of the times. The Bambino wanted inclusion. He made it a point to appear in Negro League competition because he wanted
Absolutely.
inclusion really bad. And he wanted to test his might against some of the best. And I'm happy those guys got into the Hall of Fame. It's well deserved and long overdue.
Yeah.
But my point to be made is because of the Bambino being almost like a mythical figure in some ways, Maris got screwed when he was alive. Then McGuire wants
Hmm.
to hold his baseball bat. So then it's like a second insult when you're a kid of Maris. So that's why what Aaron Judge did in 22 was so beautiful because we knew it was real. And it was
Hmm.
cool seeing Maris's son hugging it up with Aaron Judge's mom. That was good stuff.
That was awesome. That was
It
great.
was.
That
It
was
truly
awesome. I
was.
love that race. I love that race. But Mr. Rich, unfortunately, my battery is getting kind of low here.
All right, we're gonna wrap it. Before we do, make
Let's
it a
do it.
point to check out Talk of New
New
York.
York, yes, and I will be back. We will be back for that. All that.
Yeah, we're gonna be dropping our content there. Also, making a point, like and subscribe to the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. We'll have announcements to come on new things coming up. Also, check out Knicks Daily, Yankees Daily, the best place to talk about those New York teams. Let's go Yankees. Let's go Knicks. John, it was a pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye bye.